Tonight on Beach TV News, a splashdown straight from the moon, Artemis 2 returned to Earth, landing in the Pacific after a historic 10-day mission, packed with major firsts for the United States, and for all humankind. Plus, a tentative 2-week ceasefire is now in place in the Middle East, but serious question remains about whether it will hold. Is the Strait of Hormuz actually reopening, or does Iran still have a grip on one of the world's most vital shipping lanes? And months after a devastating attack destroyed their previous embryos, the beloved fig bear bald eagles have a new beginning. The eggs have hatched with thousands watching live. Now the question remains, what will the new babies be named?
Beach TV News starts now. Welcome to this edition of Beach TV News. I'm Tyler Williams.
And I'm Kaylee Gallagher. Beach TV News is brought to you by the broadcast journalism students at Cal State Long Beach. We begin tonight with an extraordinary trip back from space. NASA's Artemis 2 crew has just splashed down off the coast of San Diego, capping off a historic mission around the moon. We go live to Btvn reporter Derek Ellis at Coronado Beach. Derek?
We're standing here outside Coronado Beach here in San Diego, where the Artemis 2 crew has just splashed down right behind me about 2 hours ago. Rescuers were about to take them out right away. However, the waters were quite choppy, so it took them over an hour to get them. But rest assured, the astronauts are now secure and are getting medically debriefed as we speak. I'm Derek Ellis, and this is Beach TV News.
A historic mission indeed. Where were you when NASA's Artemis 2 crew splashed down after their journey around the moon? Space fans across the country marked the moment at watch parties. Here's Sebastian Robertson with their reactions.
This look of relief tells the story. The Orion capsule is back on Earth. The first crewed mission to the moon in more than 50 years was a success.
What we've seen in the last 10 days has been unprecedented.
The Museum of Flight served as the backdrop for space enthusiasts to follow the Artemis journey. 500,000 miles live and in real time. A mission that thus far has yielded incredible images.
It's just wild to watch it with the technology that we have now, to be able to watch them in space the whole time they're there, checking in with seeing it happen live in front of us is huge.
From detailed photos of the moon capturing ancient lava flows to moments that showcase humanity in the depths of space.
Oh, and the selfie they took from the solar array looking back at the capsule with their faces in the windows. I mean, that just makes it so much more real.
Artemis 2 is just the beginning. NASA leaders plan to make crewed spaceflight more regular, with the ultimate goal of a sustained presence on the moon.
We've always, for centuries, we've wanted to gaze at the stars. We've wanted to walk in the sky like birds. That's always been a fascination. That curiosity is what's led us to this moment with Artemis 2.
A mission that has captured the imagination of the next generation of astronauts, leaving others speechless, in awe of the beauty of a universe we've only just begun to explore.
A tentative 2-week ceasefire has been reached in the Middle East, but uncertainty remains over whether it will hold. The U.S. and Iran are both claiming victory after reaching a 2-week ceasefire deal. Though the terms of the deal are still unclear, the U.S. maintains Iran will reopen the critical Strait of Hormuz, a vital global oil route. But the Iranian state media insist it remains closed. Meanwhile, fighting continues in parts of the region, including Israel's operations against Hezbollah in Lebanon, which is not included in the deal. World leaders are calling this a step back from the brink. But with so many questions still unanswered, the ceasefire remains fragile. Well, the clock is ticking and the world is watching closely.
And as that ceasefire hangs in balance, all eyes are on the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most critical shipping choke points, and what it could mean for the U.S. economy. Roughly 20% of the world's oil flows through the narrow waterway, making it a lifeline for global energy markets. But with Iran tightening its grip, restricting traffic, and floating control access, fears are growing over prolonged disruptions, and that it could hit Americans where it hurts the most, at the pumps, at airports, on store shelves. Even with strong U.S. production, oil is priced on a global market, meaning instability abroad could quickly drive up gas prices, shipping costs, and airfares, turning a distant conflict into a direct hit on your cost of living.
A ceasefire offered hope, but for many in Lebanon, it was shattered within hours. Israeli airstrikes slammed into busy and commercial residential areas in central Beirut without warning. Just hours after a ceasefire was announced in the U.S.-Israeli war with Iran, Lebanon says at least 182 people were killed and hundreds more wounded, making it the deadliest day in the current Israel-Hezbollah conflict. The strikes came despite confusion over the deal, with the U.S. saying Lebanon was not included, while Iran and mediators claimed otherwise. In just 10 minutes, Israel says it's targeted more than 100 Hezbollah sites across Beirut, southern Lebanon, and the Bekaa Valley, turning what had been a moment of relief into chaos and a fear for civilians on the ground.
As strikes between Israel and Hamas continue, the U.S. is still on alert. Let's turn to Btvn reporter Isabella Siqueira to see how the city of the largest military base here on the West Coast is responding.
Hello, I'm here in San Diego Harbor, as you can see behind me in front of the U.S. Coast Guard and also the USS Midway Museum. Now, San Diego is home to one of the largest military bases here on the West Coast that has remained on high alert since the start of the war in Iran. But as you can see behind me, locals and tourists alike have kept the city active, with people walking, families here on vacation. Now, there have been no known threats made to the area, but military bases and security remain on high alert. Reporting from San Diego, California, I'm Isabella Siqueira, Btvn News.
Thanks, Isabella. Now over to the weather. Neighbors across Hawaii's North Shore are still shaken after a powerful storm swept away cars and damaged homes. And now another storm will be bringing months' worth of rain in just 2 days. Here's Kristen Conasilio with more.
North Shore neighbors are still traumatized by the worst storm they've ever seen, flooding taking out cars and destroying homes.
Not just with water, mud that came up through our pipes, our plumbing, filled the tub, through the yard, high enough that it left mud actually inside of our mailboxes.
And with this latest storm,
every little drop is a little scary on what's going to happen next.
Tamara Escorzan's son, Kalemanu Kailikea, had to be rescued after floodwaters rushed into their home.
You know, the week before the actual flooding, already the drains weren't moving. And when the floods came, I've lived here over 20 years in this house alone and never seen anything like it.
But despite heavy rainfall in Waialua, they're a little more at ease this time around.
And look at how much it's raining right now and what my community did. This is the result, that we're living safe right now in this storm.
They opened up the drains for us. They put everybody in safety. Like, they were the ones that was looking out for us. And if it wasn't for them, we'd be in a whole lot of trouble right now too. The community got some superheroes over here.
Turning now from severe weather in Hawaii to a developing story out of Washington, this one involves an infamous and controversial prison. The White House has released its 2026 proposal budget, and Alcatraz could be making a controversial comeback. The administration is requesting $152 million to reopen Alcatraz to house what President Trump calls the most ruthless and violent offenders in the country. The notorious prison closed in 1963 after being deemed unsafe and too costly to maintain, with estimates at the time ranging from $3 to $5 million just to keep operating. Located on an island off San Francisco coast, the Rock served as a federal prison for nearly 30 years, housing some of the nation's most infamous criminals, including Al Capone and James Whitey Bulger.
And speaking of incarceration, a major healthcare fraud investigation in Southern California has led to multiple arrests and the shutdown of several hospice facilities. Our reporter Brian Chavez is at the scene of one of those hospices. Brian?
Yes, we're live here in Artesia and for Copia Hospice Care, which is one of the 5 hospice centers that have been shut down. You can knock on the door, pull on the handle. You could even make a call to the business, and there'll be no answer. Overnight, 8 people were arrested on federal charges, including 3 nurses, a chiropractor, and a per-reported psychologist in connection to healthcare fraud. Together, they are accused of defrauding American taxpayers over $50 million. Other locations in Los Angeles, Glendale, Simi Valley, and Tarzana have also closed, revealing a much larger network of fraud across Southern California. This case is part of a broader crackdown on fraud across the country. In March, President Donald Trump signed an executive order to create a national anti-fraud task force led by Vice President J.D. Vance. In the span of 5 years, this hospice alone has made over $9 million in fraudulent hospice claims to Medicare and has profited over $8.5 million. Reporting live from Artesia, California, Brian Chavez, HTV News. Now back to you at the news desk.
Thanks, Brian. In lighter news, capturing hearts in Big Bear Valley, the viral bald eagles Jackie and Shadow are celebrating the arrival of a second eaglet. The moment comes after earlier heartbreak when 2 eggs were lost in harsh winter conditions. This time, wildlife experts closely monitored the nest, hoping for a different outcome. And now 2 healthy chicks have arrived. Once endangered, bald eagles are soaring back thanks to conservation efforts. Live cam footage of the chicks are being fed and nurtured are now captivating thousands of viewers across the country. We love to see it and send our best to the happy family. It's time for a short break, but coming up...
In a major shift, the United States is lifting sanctions on oil-rich Venezuela, a move that could reopen its energy sector and reset ties after years of tension. But what does that mean for global oil markets, and how might it reshape power across Latin America? Plus,
construction is already underway as Long Beach prepares for the race weekend. How the setup for the Grand Prix is transforming the city streets. Coming up next.
Women are bad with money.
It's what the world's been saying for centuries.
But now, we've got something to say. Save it. Save the old-fashioned advice, the empty excuses. It's all worthless, unlike us.
To our fellow females, it is time to save ourselves by saving our money.
Contributing to our futures, investing in our independence.
Until we're no longer 80%
more likely than men to live in poverty in retirement. So again, we say to that, save it.
The falsehoods, the feelings of fault.
Then the funds. Learn how to save for your retirement at wesaysaveit.org.
Being a cowboy, I don't know anything different from when I was 3 or 4 years old. I did tough things. I thought everybody needed to do tough things, and if you didn't, I didn't have time for it. I had a very successful career at a very young age, and life was fast. I was preparing physically. I wasn't doing anything mentally on the inside, and then I got hurt. I wanted to be better as a person, and I really dug into mental health. I start my day with 20-minute workouts. I live life 8 seconds at a time. Horses are so therapeutic. They know what you're feeling. When you're nervous, they're nervous. You won't say it back, but we're pals. I take a lot of responsibility in taking care of my kids, my family, and being there for them. You're gonna have tough days. Everybody does. Find a place to stop and just breathe. Love your mind.
Welcome back. 3 global shifts are shaping the course of the future. Faith, diplomacy, and security collide tonight. Here with the World News Update is Ivan Ruiz.
Thanks, Tyler. A powerful plea from the Vatican aims to inspire change for a world at war. And in Latin America, the U.S. lifts key sanctions on Venezuela, prompting a major shift for the country. Plus, new intel reveals China is aggressively expanding its nuclear arsenal, sparking global security concerns. Here's your World News Update.
I'm told that President Trump recently stated that he would like to end the war. Hopefully he's looking for an off-ramp.
In his first Easter address, Pope Leo delivered a somber message on the cost of war. He spoke of a world becoming desensitized to violence, where conflict is tolerated and human suffering fades into the background. Calling on both leaders and ordinary people, the Pope urged to turn away from force and power and towards dialogue and responsibility. He framed peace as an active choice, rooted in compassion, moral courage, and nonviolence. Pope Leo challenged the world to resist indifference and recommit to peace. The United States has moved to ease sanctions on Venezuela, marking a significant shift in its approach after years of diplomatic isolation. The decision follows political changes in Caracas and Washington's recognition of interim President Delcy Rodriguez. Sanctions relief allows Venezuelan leaders access to frozen assets and supports limited re-engagement with global markets, including energy exports. According to new intelligence and satellite analysis, China is accelerating a major expansion of its nuclear weapons program. Investigators say Beijing is building new production facilities and upgrading missile infrastructure at its fastest pace in decades. The buildup comes as global arms control agreements erode and tensions rise over Taiwan and regional security in the Pacific. U.S. officials assess China could more than double its nuclear stockpile by the end of the decade.
While China insists its nuclear positioning remains defensive, the buildup does raise fresh concerns about the global arms race, especially during these uncertain times. Back to you, Kaylee.
Thanks, Ivan. Mexico has begun carrying out a large scale of drills in preparation for the World Cup. Mexico's military and security is preparing for all types of emergencies with security drills, such as medical emergencies, terrorist attacks, and disarming security. Mexico is co-hosting along the U.S. and Canada this summer for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, making them the first country to host the Games 3 times. Mexican officials say these exercises are meant to send a clear message that they are ready to welcome the world for one of the sport's greatest events.
Well, speaking of the World Cup, Alex Prado has an update on Team Italy, along with a much-deserved celebration at UCLA and some very frustrated Olympic fans. Alex?
Thanks, Tyler. It's been an exciting week for sports as we prepare for the World Cup this summer and the 2028 Olympics. But first, let's dive into some March Madness updates.
The UCLA women's basketball team has won the NCAA National Championship. They faced off against South Carolina in a battle for the title. The Bruins took an early lead in the first quarter led by Lauren Betts, but Tessa Johnson fought back in the second quarter, cutting the lead to 3. The second half was dominated by the Bruins and they sealed the deal on the defensive end. UCLA beat South Carolina 79-51. This marks UCLA's first ever NCAA championship in program history. Team Italy will be missing out on the World Cup once again. Italy lost to Bosnia in the UEFA playoffs, falling 4-1 in a penalty shootout. This marks 16 years that Italy has failed to qualify for the World Cup. This is especially surprising considering they won the European Championship in 2021. Italy has the second most World Cup championships, tied at 4 with Germany. This is the first time in history that a former winner will miss 3 consecutive World Cups. The Olympics are just around the corner and Los Angeles is gearing up to host the Games. Pre-sale tickets for locals are live and some fans were hit by surprise after seeing some prices as high as $5,000. LA28 had advertised that fans would be able to purchase tickets for as little as $28 if you live in the area. LA28 also mentioned that more than half the tickets would be $200 and 5% would be over $1,000. Many Angelinos came up empty-handed after the $28 tickets sold fast.
Well, baseball season is officially here, and after back-to-back World Series wins, the Los Angeles Dodgers are entering the year with high expectations. To give us a closer look of fan excitement and expectations, we have Shawn Michaels at Dodger Stadium.
Baseball is back. The MLB season is officially underway, and after a World Series win and massive offseason moves, I'm going to see how Dodger fans are feeling going into the season. As the Dodgers come off back-to-back championships and now set their sights on a potential three-peat, expectations are higher than ever. After a dominant run and massive offseason moves, fans aren't just hoping for another good year, they're expecting a three-peat. Now, what are your expectations for the Dodgers this year?
It's going to be a three-peat, man, back to back. So I think we got it. After watching Team USA, I was like, yeah, we definitely got the back to back.
The Dodgers made massive moves this offseason, bringing in top closer Edwin Diaz on a record-breaking deal along with number 1 free agent Kyle Tucker. Fans are excited to see what these new additions can bring to the already stacked lineup, but are also happy that the team was able to keep the core intact heading into the season.
The fact that we kept the boys that's our offseason pickup, is keeping this team intact to go run it back for a three-peat. We're gonna make history here.
While the Dodgers have built what many see as a powerhouse roster, not everyone is celebrating. Across the league, there's been growing conversations about the Dodgers' spending. Some fans are arguing that the team is buying success and shifting the balance of the game, making it uncompetitive. This is what Dodger fans have to say. A lot of people have said because the Dodgers have spent so much money this offseason and other offseasons that they're ruining baseball. What's your message to those people?
Show up to the stadium, dude. 4 million Dodger fans show up every year. You put 4 million in whatever stadium you're from, your team will buy players too. Put on a good product, the people will come.
Whether it's excitement for new talent, confidence in a championship roster, or debate over how this team was built, one thing is certain. Expectations are high for the Los Angeles Dodgers. As the season gets underway, all eyes will be on them to see if they can live up to the hype and possibly make a historic run. Reporting from Dodger Stadium, I'm Shawn Michaels.
Thanks, Sean. And the countdown to the 51st Acura Grand Prix of Long Beach is underway. And while the cars haven't hit the track just yet, the city is already shifting into high gear. Here's Kaylee Gallagher with more.
Across downtown Long Beach, the transformation is in full swing. Crews are building a temporary street circuit, installing concrete barriers, safety fencing, and grandstands that will soon be filled with fans. What are normally busy city streets are quickly turning into a world-class racecourse as preparations ramp up for one of the city's biggest events of the year. And while the track takes shape, local businesses are preparing for a major surge in traffic.
It's great. You know, we get tons of people, tourists coming in. They get to experience an Irish pub. They also get to see the cars go right by. You know, they like to go out to the patio, see everything go by. Food's great. Beers are going. It's a great atmosphere. It's a good time.
Beyond the economic impact, the Grand Prix is also a moment that brings the community together.
But Orange County, we always think of Long Beach being part of LA County. But I guess if somebody's, I have friends that are into Formula One and really into the races and everything. So it means a ton. And I think there's a lot of people that live in Orange County that just want to come up for the event just because they like to do things and get out and have fun. And it's a 3-day event with so many things going on. So I think it's a big deal for a lot of people.
When the race weekend arrives, expect nonstop action. World-class drivers, packed grandstands, and high-speed battles throughout the streets of downtown. And when that checkered flag falls, only one driver will stand at the top, celebrating in Champion Circle, adding their name to Long Beach history. I'm Kaylee Gallagher, Beach TV News.
All of us here in Long Beach can't wait for this year's Grand Prix. Well, that's it for sports, and I'll send it back to you guys.
Thank you, Alex. It was so much fun previewing the Grand Prix. Time for another short break, but when we return...
Spring cleaning could turn the mess on your floor into money in your wallet. Our reporter shows you how to cash in. And a young boy's creation is out of this world, literally. His plush toy blasting off aboard an Artemis rocket. Those stories are up next. Stay with us.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed.
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is him. His real name is Darian, and we call him Day for short. Every day he's hungry for something, whether it's affection, attention, knowledge. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that when he's no longer under my wing, that he's a good person. I think the advice I would give is you don't need to know all the answers. The craziest thing was believing that your dad knew everything. So as a dad, you felt like you had to know everything. You had to get everything right. It's okay to make mistakes. Just do it from the right place. As long as it's coming from love, then, it kind of starts to work itself out. I want him to be able to sit back one day and go, We worked together. We did a good job. I'll say my kid's pretty dope.
As temperatures rise, winter pieces are out, and fresh spring styles are in. Our reporter Leilani Quijano shows us how you can refresh your space and revamp your style this spring while earning a little bit of money.
As people begin their spring cleaning, they are turning their clutter into cash rather than just throwing it away. From yard sales to secondhand shops, this is a busy season for secondhand styles and items. With spring cleaning in full swing, closets and garages are getting a much-needed reset. Rather than throwing things away, many are choosing to hold yard sales to sell what they no longer want or need at bargain prices to earn a little cash back while decluttering.
So today's my first yard sale, and we made almost over $300 with everybody's collective stuff that we had and my own stuff.
As the weather begins to change, many are taking their unwanted clothing to resale stores like 2nd Street to give pieces a second life while putting a little cash in their pockets. As they sort through their closets, people are also packing away last season's styles like heavy sweaters and dark colors and replacing them with lighter spring pieces.
I wear a lot of browns and darker tones in the winter, but then in the spring, just like seeing the weather be nicer outside and just the sun is out, it just makes me want to bring more color to my wardrobe.
At 2nd Street, while buyers are looking for fresh spring styles, it's the perfect time to let go of spring and summer pieces you've outgrown from last year and turn those items into quick cash and refresh your style with something new.
Since we are transitioning into spring and summer, we are buying more strappy tops and tank tops and just things that are more lightweight. So yeah, we encourage customers to bring all types of items.
Spring cleaning is the perfect time to declutter your space and bring in a little bit of money. This is Leilani Quijano reporting for Beach TV News.
The British music festival Wireless has been forced to cancel after their headliner Kanye West, now known as Ye, has been blocked from entering Britain. British authorities have withdrawn West's electronic travel authorization as a result of past anti-Semitic comments the American rapper made and growing concerns over anti-Semitism in the UK. The development comes after several partners of the festival distanced themselves from the event, including their main sponsor Pepsi. Festival Republic sent out a statement in which they claimed conversations regarding Ye's headlining spot had been held, and at the time no concerns emerged. However, they added, quote, "Anti-Semitism is in all forms abhorrent, and we recognize the real and personal impact these issues have had. In result of the cancellation, refunds will be issued to all ticket holders."
And an infamous Hollywood feud continues. Now we turn to our reporter, Sherlyn Rodriguez, who has more entertainment headlines. Sherlyn?
Thank you, Kaylee. And yes, you heard that right. The Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively case continues. A new animated film just became the largest global release of the year, and a Gen Z pop star announced something very special. I'm Sherlyn Rodriguez, and here's your entertainment rundown.
The ongoing dispute between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively continues. The It Ends With Us actors saw a major development within their case when a federal judge dismissed 10 out of 13 claims from Lively's lawsuit. These include allegations of sexual harassment, defamation, and conspiracy. Despite this setback, the case will continue to move forward with the 3 remaining claims: retaliation, aiding and abetting retaliation, and breach of contract. The surviving claims now form the core of Lively's argument. The trial is scheduled for May 18th and is expected to draw significant public attention. Although no agreement has been reached, settlement discussions have been made. And the Mario universe is back. Super Mario Galaxy debuted as the biggest global opening of the year, racking in nearly $372.5 million in its first weekend in cinemas globally. The film is a sequel to Nintendo and Illumination's hit from 2023, which earned $190 million domestically. Super Mario Galaxy's star-studded cast welcomed Donald Glover as Yoshi and brought back Chris Pratt, Anya Taylor-Joy, and Jack Black. And on to some music news. The Gen Z icon Olivia Rodrigo announced her highly anticipated third studio album. After almost 3 years of no new releases, the former Disney Channel actress turned world-renowned superstar is making her musical comeback. You Seem Pretty Sad for a Girl So in Love is set to release on June 12th. This album has had months of build-up and speculation, with many fans theorizing on the aesthetics, track titles, and whether or not Rodrigo will delve into her typical sonic style or surprise the world.
Australian pop star Rule hits Hollywood for his final tour stop. Fans from across the world filled the Hollywood Palladium to see the rising pop star in action. Btvn reporter Larissa Samano is on Hollywood with the latest on his show.
Hello, yes, we are here in Hollywood tonight to see Australian pop singer Rule perform his last show of his Kicking My Feet tour. Now, fans from across continents have traveled to be here tonight to make this show so special.
Sunset Boulevard is the very last stop for Rule and his North American tour. The venue only offered general admission tickets, so fans waited in line for hours to catch a good view. The Palladium only has a show capacity of 5,000, but still an upgrade from his previous tour, where he performed at the Fonda only holding 1,500. Fans couldn't seem to get enough of him since Rule kick-started his career.
Rule's an amazing performer. Everything he puts on is so fun. I've been to 3 of his concerts now, and every time his environment he puts on, everybody's listening, everybody's having a great time, and he's just an amazing performer.
The tour opened on February 9th in Austin, Texas, with the last 8 stops across the West Coast. Along with wardrobe changes, Rule jumps around from acoustic covers to upbeat throwbacks. While the show focuses on his most recent album, he isn't shying away from his older hits that put him on the map. Fans say there's something special about seeing him perform live versus hearing him on the radio.
It was interesting because he changed up the beat a little bit, but in a good way.
Like nostalgia, he brings the vibe, he brings sometimes if I want to listen to him, I can dance around, I can sing my heart out, but then also if I want to cry, then I can put him on to cry.
While on tour, he's announced a part 2 of his current album known as Kicking My Feet and Screaming. It is set to release June 12th, and fans are already ready for him to return to LA for a 4th time coming soon.
Reporting live from Hollywood, this is Larissa Samano, Beach TV News.
Sounds like the fans had an unforgettable night and don't have to wait too long to see him again with his new music coming out this summer. That's it for entertainment. Back to you guys at the news desk. The Artemis 2 mission included an adorable little stowaway. A 2nd grader from California won an international contest for designing a mission mascot that could serve as a zero-gravity indicator. Its job was to let the crew know when they're outside of the influence of gravity. After launch, Suji Nam introduces us to its creator.
This is the Apollo on the right side, and it's the past moon mission, and this is the Space Launch System.
It's an adorable plushie of a moon with an Earth cap.
I especially did the designs and the ideas.
8-year-old Lucas Ye of Mountain View is the brains behind the masterpiece that won NASA's mascot competition for Artemis 2.
This is the footprint made by Neil Armstrong on 1969 when he rode on Apollo 11.
He was inspired by this iconic capture of Earth from Apollo 8.
The Earth on top of the plushie's head was representing Earthrise.
Lucas's parents say his passion for space started when he was 3.5 years old.
He sometimes talks like that he's, rocket scientist.
Basically, the 3rd stage propels it to low Earth orbit. Right time, it basically uses Earth as a gravitational slingshot.
Lucas's mother, Clara Zhao, says when he's not drawing rockets and galaxies, he spends his free time reading.
He likes to read, that he enjoys sometimes that, his quiet time just...
Also, it takes approximately 8-10 minutes for a spacecraft to get to low Earth orbit.
When he opens up, he's like that.
Lucas is excited that a version of his plushie will be orbiting the moon on Artemis 2.
Letting the crew know when they have reached microgravity.
Laura Bleacher, with NASA's Exploration Systems Development Mission Directorate, says the crew was moved by Lucas's creativity.
View that the Artemis 2 crew has indicated they're really excited to be able to see for themselves with their own eyes, representing, what they see as their role in representing all of humanity and, helping to kind of bring humanity along for the ride and having this, iconic experience now, right, for this new Artemis generation of explorers.
A surreal moment seeing his design in the hands of NASA astronauts.
It's time to fly. Cheers.
And so I asked him how he feels about Rise being thousands of miles away from Earth.
280,000 miles away, to be exact.
And how do you feel about that?
So surprised.
An opportunity for Lucas that is truly out of this world.
He's so young, and his resume's probably better than mine. Well, that's it for this edition of Beach TV News. I'm Kaylee Gallagher.
And I'm Tyler Williams. Remember, you can be a part of the conversation. Head over to our socials and let us know what you think about tonight's stories.
From all of us at Btvn, good night, Long Beach.